Why don't I go ahead and get started? My name is Kim Ermiter, and I'm the director of the Explore program for undeclared students here at Northeastern, and I'm so happy that you can all join us today. And I would also like to congratulate our newly admitted students. It's very exciting. And that I hope that our presentation will be helpful to you as you work on making your decision. Today you're going to hear from me and from one of our academic advisors and two of our student leaders. They are going to talk about their experiences at Northeastern. And I think after hearing their stories, you'll have a good idea of what it's like to be an Explorer program student at Northeastern. And before I introduce our panelists, I want to make sure that you know you can post any questions you may have anytime in the Q&A section, and we will be saving time at the end of this presentation for the opportunity to answer your questions. So, but don't hesitate to just put them in there so that we can accumulate them and then get started on answering them. And next, I would like everyone else to introduce themselves. So, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Levitt, and I'm one of the advisors for the Explore program. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to talk with all of you tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Schmidt. I'm a third-year international affairs major, and I started out in the Explore program, and I'm excited to tell you more about my experience later on.
Hi, everyone. I'm the second student leader tonight. My name is Tessa Rigby. I'm a third-year data science and psychology student, and I'm also excited to speak with you all tonight.
Thanks, everyone. So you're going to be hearing more from them, as they said, in a little while. But first, I just want to acknowledge that usually at our Welcome Day presentations, we have the opportunity to kind of check in with parents and students to see how everybody's feeling and kind of hear from parents about any concerns they might be having about the fact that their students are coming into Northeastern without a major, and there's often some trepidation expressed about whether the major they ultimately choose will end up being something that leads to a good job, although parents inevitably also say they're really happy that the opportunity to explore is available for their students. So there's kind of this dynamic. And what I'd like to do is offer some data that will help to allay some concerns that you may have. And first we'll start with the National Association of Colleges and Employers, who conduct a yearly survey of what employers are looking for, and it's called the Job Outlook Survey. And in 2019, this survey yielded some data that we want to share with you, and that is that employers are looking for some specific things on a job seeker's resume. They're looking for strong problem solving and critical thinking skills, as well as the ability to work effectively on a team, and also a sense of professionalism and a strong work ethic. In addition, clear written and oral communication skills. And so why do I bring this up? Because Northeastern, with all of its academic rigor and experiential opportunities, ensures that our students graduate with these very core competencies, which means that our students are not only hireable, but promotable. Once they get into the workplace, it doesn't take long for them to rise up through the ranks. And what better place than the Explore program to start building these skills? I have another data point that I would like to share with parents and students, and that is that 45% of each entering class of Northeastern students will make some kind of change to their academic program at some point in the 8 semesters leading up to graduation. And why do I bring this up? Because I think it's important to know that just because Northeastern students seem to be really career driven and are thinking about, how to change and save the world, they don't know how they're going to do it any more than you do when you walk in the door at Northeastern. And they've had to make changes to their plans just like you will. Now, I'd like to talk about why the Explore program is a good idea for students with too many talents and too many interests. Very similar to you, to be able to make that choice in, before you start your first semester of college. And so our students tell us over and over again, as they're moving on to majors, that the reason, as they reflect back, that they chose to be in the Explore program is because they wanted to make an informed decision. They didn't feel like it made sense to just lurch into a major, not know what it's about, but it's the safe thing to do. And everybody feels better because you're in a major, but you just want to make an informed choice. And I think that makes sense because Northeastern has over 250 different majors and combined majors. So how could you know what it is with certainty without kind of exploring a little bit? And we make sure our students can do that by ensuring they have access to all of the introductory major courses, which students who enter in majors are taking. So as you explore, you're enrolling in courses that will fulfill requirements in the majors you're interested in, so you can stay on track. Now, I think it's also important to, you can click, I think, ahead. Yes, to know that our students, I'm sorry, that our students are moving into all 7 undergraduate colleges. There are no full majors. They have access to all the majors within every college, and that, oh, could you pop it? Thank you. And they graduate, I'm sorry, they graduate in 8 academic semesters at the same rates as students who start in majors, because they tell us what they're interested in and we make sure they take classes that will help them to stay on track. And we also ensure that our students, our Explore students, have opportunities to engage on and off campus. They're volunteering and engaging in service learning, and they're exploring Boston. And so while they're doing this, they're developing those core competencies that I talked about before that will prepare them for experiential opportunities that lie ahead, like Co-op, which is our signature program. And just to define Co-op, because you may hear our student leaders talk about that in a little bit, Co-op is our, as I said, signature program, and it is a 6-month full-time work experience that begins at no earlier than the end of or the middle of your sophomore year. So you're in classes for 3 semesters before you're even heading out to Co-op. But this is an opportunity to explore your interests related to a major or a field that you're thinking about. And it's a really wonderful experience, and we'll hear from our student leaders in a little bit about what that's about. Now, I think it's probably important to hear a little more about the nuts and bolts. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Levitt to talk about what it means to be sort of in your first semester.
Thank you, Kim. I'm
Yes.
experiencing a little bit of a delay with the slides, so I'm going to try to time it just right, but I apologize if it's a little bit off. So again, I'm Sarah. I'm one of the advisors for Explore, and the undeclared experience is very near and dear to me because I was also undeclared when I started college, and I actually stayed undeclared until the first day of my junior year. And I think part of the reason that I was undeclared for so long is because I didn't really have a lot of support or guidance from my school. But here in the Explore program, we know how important it is to provide a structure that not only helps guide you towards a major, but also helps you develop confidence and transferable skills along the way. So first, we have a team of advisors who are there for you throughout your exploration process. We encourage you to come talk with us about anything, whether that's life at Northeastern, getting involved, building course schedules, exploring, and so much more. And you can have as many one-on-one advising appointments as you'd like, But you'll also have your Connections and Decisions class, which will serve as a space for you to reflect on your interests and your plans for the future. Connections and Decisions is a 1-credit first-year seminar that all students in the Explore program will take in their first semester. And it serves as a homeroom of sorts. It's taught by an academic advisor and 2 student leaders, and it's designed to give you the tools that you need to explore different majors of interest and to encourage you to take advantage of all of the resources that exist outside of the classroom, including our exploratory programs. So we run exploratory events all throughout the fall and spring semesters. And this is when we bring faculty and students from majors across the university to come talk with our Explore program students. This is the perfect opportunity for you to really dig in and ask whatever questions you have about the majors that you're considering. And finally, we have a team of over 60 student leaders in any semester. They all started in the Explore program and have recently gone through this experience of exploring and choosing a major. And they're really eager to share their experience and perspective with new students. And like Kim said, you'll get to hear from 2 of them, Ben and Tessa, in a few minutes. So as a result of these different layers of support that are built into our program, 80% of Explore program students will choose a major by the start of sophomore year. So our program really has just what students need to quickly settle into a major that works well for them. And you might be wondering about the other 20%. Those students will continue to explore in our program for another semester or 2, but all students have to declare by the end of sophomore year or by the end of their 4th semester. And I know it can be kind of difficult to see yourself getting to that point where you're feeling ready to declare when you're not exactly sure how it works or how to start. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit more of the advising process. Here we have a picture of the Explore team pre-COVID. We'll have an updated one this summer, hopefully. So if you were to enter Northeastern with a major, you would be registered for a set of classes that are specific to that major. But when you start in the Explore program, you get to choose the classes that you want to take, and you'll work with an advisor all throughout the summer to learn about the courses that will help you explore your interests. So I want to show you a sample first semester schedule for a student in the Explore program. And keep in mind, this is just a sample. Let's say that as of right now, you are equally interested in business, engineering, political science, and psychology. You will work together with an advisor to come up with a set of courses that will help you explore each one of these interests. So you might choose to take Introduction to Business, Engineering Design, American Government, and Foundations of Psychology in your first semester. These classes are going to give you an idea of what it would be like to major in each one of these different areas and help you earn credit so that you're staying on track for graduation. Let's say that you're also considering design. It might not be one of those 4 main interests, but it might be something that you're just wondering about. You can take one of our 1-credit first-year inquiry seminars to explore design. Our program offers several of these inquiry seminars in different disciplines each fall. It's a small cohort class, never more than 19 students, and they're offered exclusively to Explore program students. So this is a really great way to test out an area of interest without using up a full 4-credit course, but also to get to know classmates and a professor with similar interests. And so alongside all of these exploratory courses, you'll be taking that 1-credit first-year seminar that I mentioned earlier. And this is really going to help you sort out everything that you're learning about yourself and your interests inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. And we wanted to show you this because I think it helps illustrate just how individualized your first semester schedule will be and your time in the Explore program. It really is all about you. And that's why our program's mission is to provide individualized and holistic support as you engage in academic exploration and self-discovery. Our program offers a strong and supportive community that not only is going to help guide you towards a major, but also help you discover who you want to be as a Northeastern student and who you want to become as a Northeastern graduate. Coming to college is a really big adjustment. You're going to be in a new place with new people, but through the Explore program advising process, through Connections and Decisions, and our Explore community, we will make sure that you find your home here. And so to explain a little bit more from the student perspective, I'm going to pass it off to our student leaders, starting with Ben. and they'll explain a little bit more about their time at Northeastern so far. Take it away, Ben.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Ben Schmidt. I'm a third-year international affairs major, originally from San Francisco. And while I've now declared my major, I started out in the Explore program. I had no idea what I wanted to study, but with the help of the Explore program's advisors, events, and flexibility, I was able to find my passion, and the Explore program has truly set me up for success. So for my first semester at Northeastern, I was part of the NUN program, and I studied in Berlin, Germany. For those of you who are unfamiliar, NUN is a program where first-year students study abroad for their first semester. And every year the locations change. So while Berlin might not be an option this year, there are other amazing cities to choose from. And Boston is actually an option this year. In Berlin, I was able to take classes that interested me across a wide range of topics, all while fulfilling requirements and furthering my exploration. And just as a little plug, if you are interested in hearing more about the NUN program, I invite you to attend another virtual welcome event on March 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for a more in-depth look at how NUN and the Explore program interact. I'll be there. It'll be a great and informative time. So returning from NUN, I got acclimated to the Boston campus and continued my major exploration. Again, I took a wide range of courses and ended up absolutely loving globalization and international affairs, the introductory course for that major. And this was a class I actually switched into on the first day with help from my advisor, Sarah, because I wanted to be in a more globally minded course. I love the professor, the TA, my classmates, the readings, everything just really lined up for me. And from my time abroad and the classes I had taken, many of which fell into the umbrella of international affairs required courses, I just knew this was the right call for me. So at Northeastern, I've completed one co-op at the US Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. I worked as an intern in the criminal division and basically did paralegal work. I assisted in trial preparation through sitting in on witness interviews, making binders, transcribing calls, and so much more. I even got to testify during a hearing, and while my experience was cut short during COVID, I gained amazing insight into the legal world, while also having so much fun living and working in New York City. I also took so much practical knowledge of the legal system from working at the US Attorney's Office. I'm in a lot of law-oriented classes now, and I feel a deeper connection to the material because I've witnessed a lot of the proceedings firsthand. I also remember on co-op, one of the first cases I worked on involved the Mann Act, and that is something I had studied in my legal argumentation the semester before going on co-op. So the real-life application of schoolwork was really cool to see. And now I've returned to campus and I'm back in the swing of classes. Last semester, I actually ended up in a course called Nationalism, and that got my Explorer senses going again. The professor of that class is the faculty advisor for a new major at Northeastern, History, Culture, and Law. So this major did not exist when I was in the Explore program, but I've actually taken a lot of the required courses because of my time in the Explore program and also because of how interdisciplinary international affairs is. So I'm considering a last minute switch. And if I do go through with it, my graduation date is not impacted at all, and I'm still on track to do everything on time. I'm also currently applying to jobs for my second co-op, looking into government consulting, public affairs, or maybe some nonprofit work. So the curiosity that Explore instilled in me has kept me looking for more and gave me the resources to go about finding what I'm really passionate about. And for that, I'm so grateful.
Thanks, Ben. And we'll pass it to Tessa now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tessa Rigby, and I'm a third-year data science and psychology combined major with a minor in film production. My path to this major really began in my hometown in Northern Connecticut when I first decided to come to Northeastern and join the Explore program. Of all the schools I considered, none had such a dedicated program for undeclared students except Northeastern. And back in my senior year in 2018, I could not have chosen a major if my life depended on it. Originally, I was really at a crossroads between majoring in media and screen studies or psychology. I took a few classes in each, but eventually decided to make psychology my major and take up a film production minor. Another semester went by and I felt like I was missing the sort of quantitative reasoning side of my academics and made the decision to combine my major with data science while still keeping my minor, which is how I got to where I am today. And I really could not have made any of those decisions or gotten the information I needed to declare a major I'm so confident in without the support and resources that the Explore program provided and continues to provide me to this day. Northeastern not only helped me find my academic path, but was also integral in helping me find my personal path here at Northeastern. My freshman year, I lived in a living learning community in Boston, or LLC, with all Explore program students. So that meant my section of my freshman year dorm was entirely other kids who also weren't sure what they wanted to do yet. That created a really awesome energy and community right from the get-go. Now in my third year, I currently live with 5 other people in an off-campus apartment, and every single one of us met and lived in that dorm and started off in the Explore program together. On campus, I'll always wave to familiar faces from Explore and check out people's projects, attend their organization's fundraisers and things like that. So there's definitely a wealth of opportunity to be had if you start out in the Explore program. One pillar of experiential learning that I've been lucky enough to have a lot of experience in during my time here so far is research. My sophomore year, I joined the Sigma Xi chapter of a research honor society and was able to spend the entire year developing an individual literature review project that combined my interests in data science and psychology. I examined modern media's effects on human cognition and had the opportunity to present at Northeastern's annual Research, Innovation, Scholarship, and Entrepreneurship, or RISE Expo. I'm presenting again in just a few weeks at the same expo, this time on a collaborative project at the Cognition Lab I'm a research assistant at. So as you can see, starting off in the Explore program in no way limits the amount of experiential learning opportunities you'll have access to at Northeastern. And here there is so much opportunity to find your place. On campus, I'm also involved with Greek life, intramural sports, and our school's radio station, WRBB. And I'm really glad to have started off in the Explore program. Now being sort of the halfway point of my time at Northeastern, I really feel confident in my major and extracurriculars here, and I'm really excited to see what the next half of my time brings.
Thanks, Tessa. You saying that you're at the halfway mark just hit my heart. All right, so we are ready to start the Q&A, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen in just a second, but before I do, I want to call your attention to our website and our email address. You can feel free to reach out to us if we don't get to your question today, or if you have any additional questions or want to connect with an advisor or student leader, you can reach out to us at explore@northeastern.edu. And like Kim mentioned earlier, the Q&A is open, so feel free to send your questions in. And to kick us off, I would like Ben and Tessa to share a little bit more about what made you choose Northeastern and the Explore program. Ben, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I actually applied to Northeastern as a political science major and got in through the College of Social Sciences and Humanities. But before I even came to the campus in Boston or going to Berlin for NUN, I realized I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I made that change to Explore. And I mean, I'm so happy I made that change. So I think you're all in the right place if you are really unsure about what you want to do. Just because of the flexibility it gives you, I just really was looking for that. I didn't want to be kind of nailed down to one major, but choosing Northeastern in general, I knew I wanted to be in a city. Coming from one city to another is something I wanted to do. And also the campus is really great because yes, it's in the city, but it also feels very secluded because of all the trees, and it's very kind of just like set back, but also you walk 1 minute off campus and you can be in downtown Boston. You can be eating amazing food that isn't necessarily, the campus food is very good, but sometimes you want something different. So it was the city, it's also the co-op program, being able to go abroad. That's kind of what drew me to Northeastern.
Awesome, thanks. And Tessa, how about you? I know you said a little bit about this already.
Yeah, and Ben really summarized like a lot of my points there as well. Yeah, I grew up in New England, so I always grew up like taking little day trips to museums in Boston, or like touring schools or going for concerts and stuff. So I always knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to be in Boston. And of all the schools, that I applied to, like none had such a strong, like dedicated program for Explore program students. And I really felt that the Explore program was the place for me to begin like exploring all those different interests I had, and like journalism and engineering and all these different things. So it's the perfect place for me, both like academically, professionally. Like Ben said, the co-op program was a really big draw for me as well. And I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, those were a lot of the reasons.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so we have lots of questions about how the NUN program and the Explore program work together. So I'll give a little bit of an overview, and then Ben, I'll ask for you to share your take as well. So Explore program students have access to choose from any of the NUN locations that are available. And if you've seen on the NUN website, there is a location eligibility chart that shows you the different types of courses and the different types of majors that are compatible with each NUN location. Explore program students can take their pick from the whole list. And what we really hope is that Explore program students will choose their NUN location based on their academic interests, and choosing a location where you'll be able to take the classes that will help you explore your strongest interests at that point in time. You will be working with an advisor starting now. If you have questions about location selection, please feel free to reach out to us. But certainly as we get closer to the course selection process, we'll be reaching out to help you put together a schedule that fits your academic interest, that really aligns with everything that you're looking for in your first semester. And then all of those resources that we touched on earlier, like advising, exploratory programs, student leaders, those will all be accessible by NUN students, whether you are studying abroad or studying in Boston. We also have an additional layer of support through our NUN mentor program. So as an Explore program student studying with NUN, you will be assigned an NUN mentor who is a student leader through the Explore program, who's going to be reaching out to you throughout this semester to help you launch your exploration, but also help you feel more connected to campus. You're starting to think about ways to get involved, what else that you want to be getting out of your time at Northeastern. Your mentor can really help you work through all of that. But again, you will have access to advising as well. We are all now very well versed on Zoom advising. So no matter where you are, we can help you out. Ben, do you want to talk a little bit more about first what course selection was like for you for your NUN semester, and then a little bit about your time with your NUN mentor?
Yeah, definitely. So course selection, like Sarah said, I felt super connected into the process starting in the summer before I even left for Germany. So I had met with Sarah. She knew what I was interested in studying. She knew which classes would be kind of the right things. But also more than that, what I was interested in, but also making sure I was doing requirements. So I had AP credit, so I didn't have to do the required English course, and like making sure everything was working out there. And then also I just wanted to hit on advising going forward once you leave NUN and you come to the Boston campus. I was honestly ahead of my friends in the other colleges. Their advisors just kind of put together, okay, you're going to be taking comparative politics and you're going to be taking American government. But you fill out this lengthy form and you talk about what you actually are interested in, and you meet with Sarah, and then, or you meet with your advisor, whoever it may be. Sarah's not the only one. And so you're actually able to get a class schedule the next semester where it's things you're really interested in, taking things you've learned abroad and trying to apply them back in Boston, things like that. And then also the NUN mentor experience was great for me. My mentor, Kelly, we met over, it was kind of Zoom before Zoom was really around. We met on like Google Hangouts about 5 times during the semester, and she helped me. We did like personality assessments together. She showed me course registration tips. She showed me the different ways to get involved on campus, clubs, sports teams, everything like that. She was there for me. I really felt connected to the Boston campus through her because she was actually in Boston. She had been an undeclared student. She kind of knew what was going on. And then I also was an NUN mentor 2 years after my time in NUN. So I kind of wanted to give back, give someone else that experience. And I loved it. And it's just a really helpful way of 1, exploring, and 2, being connected to the Northeastern campus.
Great. Thank you, Ben. And like Ben mentioned earlier, we do have another event coming up on March 29th that's specifically about the advising process for students who are in the NUN program. So please come to that for some more answers. And Kim, this next one's coming to you. There's a question about how AP credit works and transfer credit, IB credit. If a student is coming into the Explore program with some transfer credit, how would that impact their exploration or their first semester schedule?
So for students who are coming in with AP, IB, or any other kind of transfer credit, what we would make sure is that you were not enrolling in courses that were equivalent to what your transfer credit is looking like. So we check that out with you, and then you absolutely can move on to the next course that's a prereq for, if that's your interest. We don't force you to do that. Nobody has to take Calc 2, but if it makes sense for your progress, then you absolutely can.
Thank you, Kim. We have a question about the living and learning communities that Tessa mentioned earlier. So all students at Northeastern live in a living and learning community, or LLC, and Explore program students can choose from any one of the LLCs available, but there is a Explore program specific LLC called Journeys. So that's the LLC that Tessa lived in, and typically there's programming and events throughout the semester, throughout the year, that are relevant to your LLC's theme. Tessa, do you want to elaborate a little bit more about like why you chose the Journeys LLC and what that meant for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I had an extreme case of undeclaredness. So it was a no-brainer for me to also like live in an environment with other undeclared students. It was very comforting to know that, like, to walk past the hallway and ask people like, oh, have you I know you were thinking about biology, like, have you taken any classes? How are your classes going? And it's nice that a lot of other students who like are in classes with other people in their major get to make those connections early on. And the Journeys LLC for me was just like another way to make friends with people who had common like backgrounds right off the bat. Yeah, like Sarah said, there was a lot of programming. We had like a big common room. The big thing about the dorm that I lived in was it's like the only freshman dorm that has a kitchen, like a communal kitchen downstairs in the living room, and so, or yeah, in the common room. So there was a lot of gathering and like discussing possible major paths with RAs and just like a lot of good programming. So yeah, it was a great experience living in that LLC.
Great, thank you. Okay, so there's a question that was specifically directed to me because I mentioned that I hadn't declared my major until the first day of my junior year. I should clarify that I didn't go to Northeastern undergrad. I did still graduate on time, but you're bringing up a really good point about how, we make sure that Explore program students will graduate in 8 academic semesters, which is considered an on-time graduation at Northeastern. So like Kim mentioned earlier, Explore program students are graduating at the same rate as students who start directly in a major. And the way that that works is that you're using a little bit of elective space that is built into every major at Northeastern within your first semester or 2 semesters while you're exploring. And this allows you to still complete all of the requirements that you need for your major on time. That's really our biggest priority. One of our biggest priorities as Explore program advisors is making sure that we know what are the options, what are the different things that you're considering so that we can make sure that you're staying on track to graduate. We do not want you to be spending more than 8 semesters at Northeastern. It means more time and more money on your degree, and it's really in no one's best interest. So that's something that we'll be talking about a lot in advising and in the Connections and Decisions class as well. And so you, oh, sorry, Kim.
I'm sorry. I just want to add something on that because I just saw someone ask about when we say semesters, do we include or exclude co-op? And our semesters are those terms when students are taking a full slate of classes and earning academic credit. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yep. And so I was going to ask Ben, you mentioned that you are considering a major change at this point, which is very exciting, but that you would still be graduating on time. Can you talk a little bit more about how that's possible?
Yeah, so the major that I'm thinking about switching into, history, culture, and law, has a lot of overlap with international affairs, just because they are both in the College of Social Sciences and Humanities. They're both like interdisciplinary in nature. So because I've taken all those courses, they click off the requirements for both. So what it's really going to come down to is meeting with advisors in both of the majors and meeting with the professor I mentioned who is in charge of the major and making sure that all those requirements actually check out and make the change official. But yeah, there's no real concern about going over because I have taken the required classes. They just happen to be for both.
Great. Thanks, Ben. Okay, we have a question about whether if a student is admitted or starts in a specific program and then realizes it's not a good fit, can you switch into the Explore program after starting? Absolutely, yes, we have students switch into the Explore program from majors all the time. But we would always say that if there is any level of hesitation as you're beginning your time at Northeastern, it would make more sense to start out in the Explore program so that you can really explore your interests within that first semester rather than jumping into a program that might not be the right fit. I know that the schedule that I showed earlier had a wide variety of different majors that student was exploring, but sometimes students come into the Explore program and they are 90% sure that they want a particular major, but they just want to explore with one class, or they just want to try one thing or have access to connections and decisions in our exploratory events to be sure. So if there's any hesitation now, we would say start with us in the Explore program.
And there's someone who is asking how to switch in, which is a very exciting in the Q&A. So someone is asking, how can I switch into the Explore program? And that's easy. Just go in. I hope I'm giving you the right information. Go into the admitted student portal, your student account, and search for the change of major tab, and you just submit that with your information, your request to move into the Explore program, and voila. Yay.
Excellent.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Our next question is, at what point do students start connecting with an advisor to start talking about course selection? The timeline is a little bit different for NUN students. The course selection process usually begins in early May. For students who are admitted to a traditional fall program, would connect with us towards the end of May. We'll reach out with what we call a registration request form. We'll start learning about your interests and then working together to put that schedule together. But like I said, you can also reach out now if you have any questions about this, or you want to talk about, I'm ready to start exploring what are some resources. We are happy to help you with that. Let's see, we have a question about the core requirements at Northeastern. Kim, do you want to talk a little bit about NUPath?
Sure. So NUPath is Northeastern's sort of core education requirements, and it's designed to be really flexible, and you can double count within your major, and lots of majors have lots of double counting, so it's really easy to fulfill NUPath. So what we want our students to do in their first semester with us or two, to really focus on major requirements. So what are your academic interests, and what kinds of courses are taken by students in those majors that will help you fulfill those requirements and decide if it's a right fit for you. And when you actually arrive at your decision, that's when it's time to look at, well, what new path requirements are not fulfilled by my major, and those courses can be taken a little bit later. So it's, and many courses fulfill more than one new path requirement. So it's just really easy to get that done. Okay.
You, Kim. All right, we have a question about other opportunities to study abroad or other global opportunities in addition to NUN. So Northeastern has lots and lots of opportunities for students to study abroad or to go abroad. We have traditional study abroad semesters where students can study at any institution, any country. We have a global experience office that will help you plan for and get that process started. We also have a summer study abroad program called a Dialogue of Civilizations. This is a short-term study abroad led by a Northeastern professor. So it's more of a cohorted experience, and the professor is actually curating a curriculum based on their field of interest, their field of study, that Explore program students can take advantage of if those programs align with their academic interests. And there's also opportunities to do co-op abroad and more. So again, this is all part of the advising conversation for Explore program students. We will get to know whether you see yourself going abroad at any point in time and how that might fit into your plan of study at Northeastern. We have a question about the Connections and Decisions class and if it's offered in the spring semester for students who start in the NUN program in the fall. And yes, that's a very good question. So NUN students will take connections and decisions in the spring semester when on campus. Let's see, Kim, question for you. How many students are in the Explore program? What percentage of first-year students start in Explore?
Roughly 10% of the first-year students start with us in the Explore program. And is that the, I think
Yeah.
I answered that fast.
Yeah, that was a quick one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised I'm not seeing a lot of questions about co-op, but I think we should give a little bit more of an overview. So like Kim mentioned earlier, co-op is a 6-month full-time work experience that students alternate between semesters of classes. And Ben, you talked a little bit about your co-op in New York. Can you tell us what it was like to prepare for and actually get that co-op? Talk a little bit about the co-op class and that process.
Yeah, so everyone takes an introductory course for co-op. It's another 1-credit course, kind of like Connections and Decisions, where everything in that class is all about getting you a co-op, all about for preparing you how to do interviews, for preparing you for the best resume, update your LinkedIn, things like that. And it's taught by a co-op advisor. So my co-op advisor, once I declared international affairs, I also had a co-op advisor who taught that course, and he's it for all of the international affairs majors, or most of them. And he was able to meet with us one-on-one and talk about what we wanted to actually do. I knew I had some interest in law, so he was like, okay, here's a position you might be interested in applying to. There's this great system called NU Works, and it lists all of our different options for co-op, and it's very easy. You put it in, you put your resume in, you apply. If it needs a cover letter, you attach it there, and it's a very easy process. And then you go through the interviews, and yeah, and then you're in New York City working at the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Just like that. Yeah, so it's definitely a guided process. We're coming up on the end of our time together already. It always flies, but we usually like to kind of wrap up our webinars by asking our student leaders to share a piece of advice or something that you wish you knew as you were kind of, making your college choice. Tessa, why don't we start with you? What's one thing you wish you knew?
Yeah, sure. I think when I was making my decision about where to go to school and just generally choosing my major when I was like a freshman here at Northeastern, something I wish that I had known was that like no path that you might think you're interested in is like a waste of time in just learning more information about. I used to think that like taking certain classes that didn't end up counting toward my degree was like, that was a wasted credit. But I really think that now in my 3rd year, I know that every experience that you have as you're going from senior year of high school to freshman year of college and beyond is really valuable. And you can pull lessons from pretty much every experience you have. And I just think that's a good thing to remember.
Excellent advice. Ben, how about you?
Completely agree with Tessa. You can learn something from everything you're doing, and you cannot be over-informed. So like going to these panels, going to all these virtual events is so useful. But something else that I think I stole from a different student leader is YouTube is a great resource. Looking up like day in the life videos of Northeastern students doing things like that is something I highly recommend. And also just appreciating your hometown while you're still there. You never know how much you're going to miss it until you're gone. So that's kind of a more sentimental one, but also that.
Thanks for bringing up YouTube, Ben, and I'll plug the Explore Program YouTube channel. We have lots of videos posted and more coming out to hear more about the student perspective, faculty perspective, day in the life videos, all of that fun stuff. And I know there are a few questions that we didn't get to. I apologize about that, but like I said, feel free to email us, explore@northeastern.edu. And please attend some more of our events. We have a couple more events coming up this week and the following weeks as well. You can register and view our schedule in the virtual welcome platform. And we thank you all for attending tonight. We hope that you found this informative. And like I said, feel free to reach out at any point, and good luck and congratulations again. Bye, everybody.